It has become very apparent that in the year 2025, feminism has gone a little off the rails, at least in the West anyway. And while there are some places that still really need feminism, like the East, especially the Middle East and certain parts of Africa, the main women that are fighting for feminism and pushing it out so loud that they can't hear themselves think are women in the West. Women that have the ability to do the same things that men can do according to the laws, but they don't always get to feel safe while doing it. So they're very upset. They're so upset now that I don't think what we're pushing for is equality anymore. I think what we're pushing for is revenge. But hey, don't let me speak for the feminists. I will allow them to speak for themselves. I don't wanna be friends. I'm obviously going to mute that because it's definitely copywritten music, but she doesn't want to be friends with women who say the following things. But what if that hurts his feelings? I think men deserve to be happy. But if a man said this, ... And this is the reason why I try to draw a clear line in the sand between feminists and myself, because this sounds crazy. You don't think that men deserve to be happy? You don't have a single man in your life? That is so sad. Some of these girls really don't have a single man in their life that has ever been good to them, for which I pity you. But that doesn't mean that you have to take it out on every other man. Because I don't know about y'all, but I have a father and brothers and uncles and cousins and friends and a nephew. And if somebody looked at my nephew and said, "You don't deserve to be happy because you're a man," my fight or flight is going to kick in. And I can't fly. The comments don't help either because, of course, they're on her side, except for the ones that are calling her sexist, which she definitely is. I understand there are some men in your life that have hurt you. That makes sense, but that doesn't mean that no man deserves to be happy. In the same way that some men have been hurt by women, but if they got on this internet and said I'm not even going to try to establish reason with this because we're talking about a person that is completely illogical, so I'm just going to let you keep being illogical. I have nothing to say.
Y'all have pissed women off to the point where there is no room for mistake.
You see how he said, no room for mistake? Not mistakes. Mistake. Because in 2025, that's all they get. One mistake. I'm going to play the rest of this video. And ladies, if you're not dating the way he describes, you're fucking up. You're getting taken advantage of. First rule, only give them one motherfucking shot. One mistake.
That's interesting because we're talking about humans who are inherently flawed and make multiple mistakes in a single day. But depending on what the mistake is, I could be down with such things. If the mistake is that person cheated on you, lied to you, put you in a dangerous situation, okay, yeah, maybe he only gets one chance to do that. I think that that's fair. But something tells me that I don't think those are the types of mistakes that she's talking about. But I'll let her speak for herself. Let's keep listening.
You cannot ask where they work. You can't ask about their past.
Yep. Don't ask us about our past because who we've been with, where we've been, what we've done is none of your goddamn business. Our body count is none of your goddamn business. And don't be asking me where I work, okay? Don't worry about what the fuck I bring to the table because I am the table.
Why do women keep calling themselves objects? That's so weird to me. You are not a table, ma'am. You want to be treated as an equal and as a partner, but you are calling yourself a literal table. What do you mean by that? People sit at tables. You are not a table. But let's back it up because women don't have to explain their past to men. That's not true because men have to explain their past to us. If you were abusive in your last relationship, I want to know that. I would like to know that. If you have some type of STD, STI, or have had one in the past, I would like to know that. There are so many things about a person's past and history that you should discuss when dating. We're not just gonna not talk about that because we're women. I want to know everything. When it comes to jobs, I don't think that most men care what the girl's job is, so I don't know why you're unwilling to give that information. Most men don't care. Unless, of course, maybe they're trying to live off of you or something. But something tells me that you are only taking care of yourself because I don't think we have a man or a kid, do we? Just an assumption. I could be totally wrong, but I don't think I am.
You can't be too attractive because that's a red flag. You can't be too ugly because that's a red flag. God forbid you're broke or you're in between jobs.
Yep. We want y'all on eggshells. Yeah. On eggshells. And 1,000% on not being broke. We're not doing charity cases no more. We're bringing too goddamn much to the table, to your life. Your menergy vampires siphoning lives, building up your lives, your careers, your businesses, your families, your households, and getting nothing but grief, sickness, autoimmune disease, stress, and misery in return. Adultery. For the blessings we be bringing to your lives, men, you better have the money to pay up.
Now, don't get me wrong. This woman does look very stressed. Like, I can tell just from the facials. But also, I don't think you have a man in your life. So what's stressing you, sis? What's wrong? Because we don't look happy, right? Like, the girlies that are making these videos never look happy. They never look like, oh my gosh, I just love my life. You look miserable. So was a man recently in your life making you miserable? Or maybe you're just miserable. I don't know.
If you don't text back fast enough, blocked. If you don't share your location, blocked. It's not looking good for us, boys.
Heavy on the if you don't text back, blocked. Ain't nobody sitting around waiting for your phone call or your text anymore. Not in 2025. Y'all trying to do the penny method? Well, we're doing the block method. Ladies, they know what the fuck time it is. If you are not dating the way this man described, you are fucking up. I have a lot of women ask me when I talk about feminist content, when I talk about the true nature of men, I have a lot of women in my comments being like, well, how do we move forward with this information? How do we date? How do we use this information? Just the way this man described. Don't waste your time on no broke motherfuckers. Don't waste no time on no motherfuckers nickel and diming you. Don't let these motherfuckers be asking you dumbass questions, dumbass misogynistic ass questions, whatever else the hell he said. Most importantly, they get one mistake.
This is dating advice from a woman who is clearly single. And I think that says enough. I don't think I have to say anything else after that. If you would like to take dating advice from this woman, I assume that you're going to end up like her. So if you're okay with that, live, laugh, love. We're going to hear it from one more feminist. I'm going to give another one of them a chance to step forward and say something that makes sense. Fingers crossed.
Exactly. I keep saying this. Ladies, do you understand the only reason that men still exist is because y'all have made it so?
What? What do you mean by that? What are you suggesting?
The only reason men still exist is because women have carried them through the centuries. Most males are not supposed to reproduce. Most males are not even supposed to have access to women in the first place. We are not supposed to be reproducing and creating children with losers. But because we've been brainwashed by patriarchy, Abrahamic religions, and all the other things that men have created to keep us in place, they're still here. Women have been taught that it's okay to reproduce with losers. Women have been taught that accidental and unwanted pregnancies are acceptable and should be celebrated. Do you want to know why? Because there's a 50% chance it's going to be a boy. Men are not supposed to have it so good. They are literally only supposed to be helpmates. They are not supposed to be in charge or in control. Most men, the majority of males, are not fit to have sex or reproduce.
I immediately started laughing because the first comment says, "Aw, feel better soon." And truly, because you are obviously mentally unwell. So I really do hope that you feel better soon. You know, there are certain women on the internet that advocate for traditionalism, like going back to when women were mostly trad wives. She is advocating for something even older. She's like, let's take it back to biblical times, back when Solomon had 300 wives and 700 concubines. She said, let's bring it back to when only certain men were able to produce. This is what she is suggesting. She is suggesting that all of us good women go find one good man and we just only reproduce with that one. So ladies, if you are open to sharing at this point, I think that that's what she's advocating for. Form a sister-wife connection with your best friend and try and find one good man, I guess. Good luck. Now, it's not all mind-numbing content on the internet. There are some people out here, some women especially, that still make sense to this day. So we are going to listen to them.
We are feminists and we want equality. That's why we find it super offensive if a man were to ask us to stay at home and cook and clean.
Okay, yeah, because women can do anything now. We can work, we can stay at home, we can even make an OnlyFans, and people are supposed to be okay with that, right?
Yes, my body, my choice stops shoving women into traditional gender roles.
All right, I can agree with you there. So men, we're no longer expecting them to provide.
Excuse me?
Like, it's not the 1950s anymore. Women don't have to stay home and be like homemakers. So men, they don't have to be breadwinners, right?
Oh, I get it. You're supporting men being in their soft boy era. That's it? You want us to pamper men?
No, I'm just confused as to why we still expect a man from the 1950s while disrespecting them like a 2025 woman.
Do you think women should be barefoot and pregnant?
No, I just don't think we should be calling men misogynistic for putting us in gender roles while we continue to push men into theirs.
Okay, that's it. I'm a victim!
She really ate y'all up, and I love that. Because that's really how y'all sound. Y'all are asking for traditional men, but you yourself are not a traditional woman. That doesn't make any sense. It's never going to make any sense. That's the reason why you're failing so hard on the dating market. You're not going to find one. You're not going to find a traditional man that will pay for everything and then also treat you like an equal and will, it's just not. The truth is that most women are attracted to their form of masculinity, which masculinity to women typically leans more conservative. It just does. Because if he really thought that y'all were absolutely equal, then you would split everything equally. That's 50-50, but y'all don't want to do that. You all don't actually want liberal men that really believe that you are their equal, because then they're going to financially treat you like you're equal. But you don't want that. You don't want them. So you're either going to make it work with a more conservative man who is willing to pay for everything and not hold you accountable in those ways, or you are going to find someone who wants to hold you accountable because they actually think that they're your equal. Pick a side. This one just makes me laugh. This says, nothing says 2025 feminism like showing your flaps to the world for $3.99 a month. $3.99 is crazy. If you are on OF or any of these other websites and your monthly membership is $3.99, please hang it up. I'm convinced that this is a scheme. You are not pricing yourself at $3.99. That is less than a foot long at Subway. You can't even get a decent meal for less than $20 nowadays, but apparently we can get access to your entire body for less than that. That's sad. You are cheaper than a McDonald's value meal. No, because now I actually want to look this up. What percentage of people on OF charge less than $20 a month? The percentage of content creators with a price point of $20 or lower on OF is 82.4%. I mean, I guess it's a different kind of work than like your old school street walking, but they would have laughed at these prices. I'm so sure. This is sad. This is sad, guys. I really want my girlies to start valuing themselves, because even back when a pimp was in charge, he would have charged them more than this. Y'all gotta learn to haggle. You gotta learn to do a little. And if you keep having to lower your prices because the next person is lowering their prices, maybe you're just in an industry that's going to make women literally worthless. Because if we're valuing ourselves at $3.99, it's gonna be worthless. Sex eventually is going to be worthless.
When Black women look at me and tell me that they're a feminist, I cry inside. Stay with me. The first wave of the women's suffrage / feminist movement really started in 1848 to like 1920. 1920, white women got the right to vote. It took them 45 years to realize that Black women are women too. We got the right to vote in 1965. 1965. Okay. White women never saw us as women. They didn't classify us as a woman because of racism. And a lot of times they were fighting for the right to vote so that they could go and get a job while us Black women were staying at their houses playing maids. And that's all they saw for us. We played the maids. They never cared about us. And historically, the way that they actually vote, it shows. 2024 alone should let you realize that the feminism movement is fake and it's for them. It's not for us. We saw what it looked like for Black women to come together and actually agree on something that would benefit us and how we showed up in numbers. And you know who did not show up for us? white women. Elizabeth Stanton, Susan B. Anthony always actively sidelined black women's rights. They actively argue the fact that white women's voting rights should take precedence over black men. And by the way, this is really what, started the women's suffrage movement in America, because black men were about to get the right to vote. Okay. And if you're a black woman, look up womanism, look up Pan-Africanism. Educate yourself before you hop on this feminism movement. It's not for us, babes. Feminism does not actually benefit us. Yes, the law and the policies actually had to include us like 45 years later because, but it was never formed with us in mind. It was solely for white women only. And I just wanted to remind you guys that, okay? I love you.
First things first, she ate him up. I absolutely agree 100% because there is really a difference between white feminism and black feminism, right? We all know that. And history will tell us that. She has told us some history right there. It's not the same. I always have to ask feminists a clarifying question when they start talking about how women weren't allowed to work and we were stuck at home. What women weren't allowed to work? Who are you talking about? Who are you talking to? Because my ancestors have been able to work on this here continent since we were dropped off by boat over 400 years ago. So I don't know who you're talking about. People that look like me, women that look like me have always been able to work in this country. Absolutely. If we're talking about America specifically, my ancestors have always been able to work. Who are you talking about? No, say it. It's okay. Say it. I want you to say it. Put it in the comments. Who are you talking about? What specific type of woman was not allowed to work in the 1950s? Tell me. Let's talk about it. Overall, I would just like to summarize by saying that all of these women actually live in the West, and all of their rights to say whatever they want on the internet are currently being protected by men. There are men and women in our armed forces right now protecting their right to freedom of speech, but it's mostly men. There are men and women in Congress right now protecting their right to freedom of speech, but it's mostly men. There are men in their lives right now that are protecting their freedoms every day by being police officers, firemen, EMTs, who are all majority men. So, next time that you get on the internet and use your freedom of speech and you voice your opinions and you talk about how much you hate men, remember that there is a man out there who is doing his job to make sure that you can do that. Welcome to Feminism in 2025, where we literally shit on the people who allow us the freedom to shit on them. I never even introduced myself. Wait, hi, I'm Jenise Cheyenne. New channel, new vibes. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. Let me know how you feel about this video if you disagree with anything that I had to say. I'm totally down to debate. Let's do it in the comments. Let's be respectful, but let's talk about it. And to all my Western 2025 feminists out there, I really hope you're advocating for something more than just equality here in the West. Please go take that activism and push it forth to the places that actually need it. Because I promise you, if you are a woman living in America in 2025, there's like a 90% chance that you're fine. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.